this has been something I've been meaning to do for a while, and that is make up a new battery pack for that big Betacam that I picked up a couple years ago that had the dead Anton Bauer battery pack on it. Now, I wasn't about to rebuild that pack because even though I could, I don't have a charger for it, so it didn't do me much good. But I think I found a solution that's just as elegant and looks really good. Let's check out what I've come up with. You guys probably remember this camera. This is the highest quality standard definition camera that I own. And this was a real fortune when it was new. Now, at one time when I was doing production work, I had a Betacam SP, which was the component analog. This one here is a Betacam SX. It's component digital, 422 recording, but it's an MPEG-2 type stream. Similar to digital Betacam, which was the step up from this, Sony brought out the SX Betacam format to produce a lower priced digital Betacam. And this camera works great. This one records in PAL, so it's 576 active lines, 625 is the total versus 525, but 576 active lines versus 480 for NTSC. So when upscaled to either 720 or 1080, the picture quality off this one actually looks pretty good. It looks almost as good as a regular 720 camera when upscaled to 720p. It looks quite good. I've done demos with it. The biggest problem I've got with this is it's got this Anton Bauer battery pack, but the NiCad batteries are shot. I don't have a charger for it anyway, so we're gonna get rid of this. Maybe even get rid of this back plate. I want to try to use another battery pack that I just so happen to have, and I've had it for a while, and this is lithium ion, and it's that. Yes, I don't think it's any, I think it's lighter than the Anton Bauer, believe it or not. But this is the pack here, and you see this has got DC outputs, USB-C input output, USB-C out, USB, but it has that. And that is great because I just so happen that I have somewhere around here, I have a cable that will plug into that port and convert it over to a Canon 4-pin that will power the camera up. I just had it here a minute ago too. Where did I do with it? I just had it here. Had it from back in the days of my other cameras. I have another cord. Here it is. I have another cord that's also got a longer cable on it, like a longer cable than this, with a 12-volt plug. And I have one that's just got a battery that's attached to the end of it. In fact, I think when I tested this out before, I just used a gel cell in a separate pack. But I think if I can adapt this backing so that I can set this on here, this might make a nice one-piece solution with this cable. Because you see, then I can power the camera up using the 4-pin power connector right here. And then plug that into the battery pack. So let's see if I can mount this. Now, if all else fails, I could take this Anton Bauer pack, open it up, and remove the cells from it and use this as a backing plate to attach this pack, because this will pop out of here as well. But I'm thinking if I can come up with something that will attach to this back here, even if I have to strap it onto this battery pack without the cells in it because I don't need the extra weight, that actually might be the solution, is to strap this on this case onto this pack, and then I can just plug it in. That might be the solution, because then it can be snapped off the back. I'll see if I can remove this backing and see what I don't even know how this thing removes. I know you push the button in here somehow, and this should lift off, I think. I forget how these things open. I don't think I got to remove any screws. The nice thing about this pack is that I don't have to turn it on. The switch here, this switch is for the 12-volt, 16.5, 20, or 24-volt output, which is selectable on this connector there. Right, that connector. You can select different voltages. This is for powering up laptops. And of course you can use the USB-C and USB-A outputs as well, and that's what you turn them on. But the 12-volt, this one's always live. So if I plug this cable in here, even without turning this on, I don't have to turn the battery back on. That's why I thought this would be a great idea. Because you see, if I turn this on, and I turn on my meter, and I apologize for bringing out the flute, because I've been using the other one pretty much religiously for the last month, but this one was just the first one I grabbed. But I forget which one's positive, but it doesn't matter. We should see 12 volts on here. Okay, I reversed my terminals. We have 12 volts, right? So this is live always, which is nice, because having to turn the battery pack on before turning on the camera would kind of be a step backwards. So not that I really plan to use the camera, although I do plan on taking this out and doing some shooting with it, just for how's the saying go, sheets and giggles, and we'll do a video. I'm going to take this out one day soon, I hope, and we'll take it out and just do some shooting. I don't even think I've got a mount for this thing for my tripod. I might be able to mount that on my tripod plate actually and put it on my tripod so I can get some good still shots with this thing. If it still works, I haven't used it in a few years. For all I know, it's broken because it's been sitting around for a while. There, that pushes that in, and then that lifts up. Okay, so that's a standard V mount on the back here, and that's broken. I guess this camera was dropped at one point. I'm sure it probably was. But that's okay. See, when I do a video with this, I'm going to play the tape back in that Betacam SX player that I have, because it has RGB out, and then I can capture in component and not just capture through composite. So that should give me a better picture. So I'm just going to study this for a minute and see if there's a way I can attach this. I'm thinking probably the easiest and best routine will be to open this pack and attach this case to this pack. That way it can just lock in place. In fact, I think after looking at how this is laid out, I think that's the way that I'm going to go. And by the way, I'm working on this little project today just because there's a stack of 5 boxes that just arrived from Toronto to be worked on. And I'm going to get on those soon, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to do something for myself first. I'm going to do this one first for myself. See if I can crack this open. It should open up. I also learned something this past week, and I don't sell products normally. Like, I don't sell anything on eBay because I had a very bad experience about 20 years ago selling something on eBay, and it was something that was a camera about as big as that. Okay, it was an EVW 300, but okay, not quite as big as that, but it was a EVW 300 that I sold. And I had a very bad experience selling on eBay. So I vowed to never ever sell anything again using eBay or any other type of bidding thing. And I've stuck with selling everything that I sell local. Now, I don't get as much as I could get from bidding wars on eBay, but it's always less stressful because I'm dealing with a local buyer and I never have to deal with things like shipping damage, for example, and chargebacks. I broke rule number 2, because I already broke rule 1 before. When I loaned out, if you remember, when I loaned out my borescope and it came back broken, that was rule 1, don't loan your equipment. Rule 2, don't sell stuff to people at long distances where it has to be shipped. So if you remember a few weeks back, I had an SL2000 that I was checking out because I had someone who was interested in buying it. I'm going to try to split this with a screwdriver. Anyway, I was humming and hawing, should I sell this thing or should I keep it for parts? And a fella offered me some money for it, and we came to an agreement that, okay, I'll let it go, because he seemed like he really wanted the unit. And, well, I figured it would go to a good home, and I tested it out and everything was working, so I was pretty confident that everything would be fine. And I get a phone call from him last week that it worked for a few minutes and then it shut down. And when he tries to put it into fast forward or rewind, it shuts down. Now, it was working fine when I tested it here, but again, it's a unit that's 40, what, I think it's 1980 or 81 when that one came out. It's 42, 43 years old, but it was shipped across the country. It worked when it left here, and it doesn't work there, so I have a fellow that's not happy that it's not working, and he wants me to try to help him fix it through video chats and stuff and phoning me. And well, the chances of trying to get something to work over a video chat are about as good chances as hell freezing over, because there's only so much I can see, and something like that's going to require looking to see what's going on, what's turning, what's not turning. And of course, a unit that's as complex as the SL2000 was, which in my opinion was probably one of the worst Betamax units that Sony ever made. There's 3 models of Beta machines that are absolute pieces of crap: SL2000, SL2500, and SL2700. And there's many VHS companies that made VHS machines which are equally as bad, like the Panasonic PV1730. Let me explain as I try to get into this battery pack, which is fighting me here. I don't think these screws go through. Maybe these screws go through, but the problem with SL2000, 2500, 2700, Panasonic PV1730, and I'm sure there are other machines by other manufacturers. I just know that the 1730 is bad because I have one. Take those out. They use direct drive motors. They had a direct drive motor for the take-up spool, a direct drive motor for the supply spool, direct drive motor for the drum, direct drive motor for the capstan, and a loading motor. And machines that were front loaders had a 6 motor for loading. And people think, well, that's going to increase reliability. There's no belts and stuff to wear. There's nothing like that. There's no mechanical pendulum arm that flips back and forth. There's no idlers to wear out. That's true, but they also have to have servo circuits to operate all those extra motors. You have to have tension regulators on the supply side, tension regulator on the take-up side, because these motors can produce one hell of a lot of torque. You got to monitor the rotational speed for both the supply and the take-up motor, and you have to have feedback circuits that actually have little sensors on the tape to detect tape tension. There's a lot more to go wrong with them, and they do fail, and they do fail quite frequently. They failed quite frequently when the units were relatively new. They fail even more frequently when they're 40 plus years old. And that's why I say don't buy this old crap. Just because it looks like it could be good because it's got all these motors on it, it's just that many more things that are going to cause problems down the road. And those problems may or may not be fixable depending on what is wrong. It's like my Betacam, what is it? It's like my BVW 75 Betacam SP machine. Okay, if I load a tape up and hit play, it'll play fine. If I try to go into fast forward, rewind, or even pause, I get a tension error. Why? Because there's a feedback circuit that monitors the tape tension, and it's detecting that the tape is at the wrong tension. Now I got to figure out what's causing that. That doesn't happen on machines that use mechanical means to regulate the tension. That only happens on machines that have an active feedback circuit, active circuitry to monitor the tape tension. So this is the NiCad battery pack that's in here that's going to go out. They're Sanyo cells. Let me just clip these off. They're dead. Like they are completely, totally dead. And I tried to charge them once before, but they will not hold a charge. But this is what's in here. These are 14.4 volt nickel cadmium pack. So they got, I guess there's 3 cells in a line here. Because nickel cadmium are 1.2 each, right? This is a 14.4 volt pack. It has temperature sensors on here to stop the charging if the battery overheats, and to cut off power if the battery overheats. And I got this cute little LCD display. I don't care about any of this. I just want this thing for the mount. I just want to be able to mount this to this battery pack and attach it to the camera and plug it in with a cable. So that's what we're going to work on. I'll probably even get rid of this little circuit board because it's not going to be doing anything. I just basically need the backing plate here. I'm not even going to bother with these terminals. I was thinking about hooking it up right to the battery pack, to the plug, obviously. But you know what? Nah. It's just one more thing to have to dealing with the connections in here. I want it so that I can remove the pack like that. I mean, I could literally stuff some zap ties around there, and that might even be the easiest way to hook this thing up, you know? I'm just thinking, what is going to be the easiest way to make this pack be mounted to this back so that I can attach it to the camera and take it out and use it. And I think the simplest solution is the most obvious. And that's cut all this crap away. I don't even think I need to bother with this other half. That just makes it that much deeper. I'm thinking, if I take this and slap some zip ties around here to hold this, I mean, I could even go through that and tie it down that way around here. That might be a solution. Or just pack the entire pack, zip ties around the entire pack. That is going to hold this in place. I think, you know, you got to do what is the simplest of them all. I'll put this little glass in there, just so that it, you know, I think that's going to do it. That is going to make this thing fit, and it'll snap on just like it would if it was a real battery pack. I can snap it on. I can still, I think, access the release here. Yeah, there's the release catch. Should be able to still access the release catch. Yeah, I think, let's grab some zip ties. This is going to be a nice, easy one. So I got 3 zip ties put together, and I will just kind of try to center these so that they will at least look half decent. I'll probably use 6 of them in total, but tie this one down and just give it a good tug. One will probably hold it, you know. One will probably do the job. Look at that. Wow. That will hold it. Yeah, and then I can just torque these a little bit and cut them. I probably don't even need to do that. It's not going to go anywhere. All right, just one around there will hold that in place. There. Well, that couldn't be any simpler if I tried. I guess I could have put it the other way with the power connector coming out of the bottom, but I want to keep everything kind of neat. And then I can just take this unit and just go like that. And the battery pack is on, and to remove it, I can just do that. And remove it. Just like that. Then I can take this cable, plug this cable into the bottom of the camera. Right here. Just like that. And take this cable and plug that cable in like that. It's just the right length. Bingo boingo bango. It's got power. And if I turn on the power on the camera, something should light up. Where's the power switch on this thing? And there it is. It's displaying color bars. Cool. Alrighty. Let's power this thing up. I'm gonna throw. I got lots of tapes. I'm gonna fire a tape in this thing, and we'll take some pictures with it. I have a Digi Beta tape here. This requires I have an SX tape. I'm just not gonna put it in. I have the bright yellow Target SX tape, and I got some Betacam SP tapes, which also work. This works with SX tape and SP tape. It will work with the Digi Beta. I've already punched the holes in here to make it think that it's an SP tape. Let's see if it will accept it. Alright, tape goes in like that. If I haven't punched the holes quite right, it is going to kick the tape out. I haven't punched the holes right. Let me just fix that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. This has got the right protect tab set. Is there something recorded on this tape? There might be. I can't watch it anyway if it was recorded on a digital beta. This tape was given to me, so I don't know if there's anything on it. I guess I got to make sure that my holes line up properly. I mean, I've done this before. I forgot this tab. I got to pop that one out. So we'll just get the cutters. We'll just remove that one as well. Okay, now it should work. Oh, it still doesn't. This is what an SP tape, the pattern for an SP tape. I think I probably opened up the wrong way. I got to cover this part up here. But an SX tape, a real SX tape, only has those two open. So I'm going to throw some tape, just some cellophane tape on here to cover up the ones that should not be open. And it should accept the tape. This was Sony's way to make sure that you purchase the right tape for your camera. See, now it's threading. You just have to have the index holes punched right. I only have to do this with the digital tapes. I could use this tape. You know, I could use it. You see, it's only 32 minute tape. Only has that much tape on it because this is 32, I think. Yeah, 32. This is a 32 tape. It only has that much tape on it. A Betacam SP is a full load. On an SP machine, that's 30 minutes. On an SX machine, that's 30 minutes. So this 30-minute tape will actually run quite a bit longer when used in an SX camera. This tape was a, what was this one? This was, what was this? Was this a 32? This was a 32. DBC tape though. You see, if you look at the digital beta, you'll see that the Digi Beta actually moves faster. It has more tape on it than the SX, because the SX was a slower tape format. So this is the 32-minute tape, as is this one. One for full DBC, digital beta, and the other one for a Betacam SX. This will run about 28 minutes on analog SP. This one here will run, if I put that on analog SP, it's probably only going to run about 15 minutes. You know, it's going to be considerably shorter because, well, you can see there's less tape on here. Anyway, I got a bunch of tapes to play with. I've got like, I think I got like 5 SP tapes and a couple of Digi tapes and an SX tape. So I got a few tapes just to play with, and I got some of the full-size tapes for my SP machine to play around with. This is up and running. I'll hit the record button and we'll just record some color bars on here. So as you can see, my counter is advancing. I'm recording color bars and it's telling me my tape and my battery is full. I got audio going to all, I think all 3 channels. It's got 4 channels, but I'm recording to all 3 channels. 2 of them are showing here because I've only got the one microphone on here. And you can see, anyway, we're going to take this thing out and we'll do some pictures with it, and I will play it back. I don't know if I'll capture it with the, I don't think I'll bother capturing this with the SX player just because it's in here and I don't feel like hauling it into the house and hooking it up. So I'll probably just capture this with the composite out from this for now, just for this little test. We'll take this out and just do some pictures with it this afternoon and just play around with it for a bit. Okay, I remember how heavy these things were when I had to use them, but you can actually hold them quite still. They're well balanced. Manual focus. That's the extent of the lens. Now this one does have an extender on here. I flip the little lever down. Now I'm on the extender. And I'm going to change my color filter here. Might help if I put the camera in auto iris. I had it in manual iris, so my exposure before was probably a little off, but here's the extender. As you can see, I can see right down to the end of the street. And then some. That's a block down. tell you, nothing draws attention than having a camera that's this size on your shoulder. I mean, that's a long lens. This lens on this camera was probably, I don't know, maybe $10,000 or $12,000 just for the lens. That's where the eagle usually perches. He's not here today. He'll be back. So I think that will about do it for this one. I'll put some shots. I just took it outside and took some shots. We'll show you some of the footage of this. I will over the next little while put something together with this camera on a tripod. Maybe take it out and do some shooting. I gotta be careful with this thing though, because when I used to carry around a camera this big, and I did when I was doing production work, you show up at a park or something with a camera like this and tripod, and the first thing you get is you get the third degree from anybody that wears any type of hat, like Parks Board, for example. They'll come along and ask you where your permit is, thinking that you're doing something commercial, because when they see a camera this big, they immediately think production. And well, today's cameras, you don't need something this big for it to look good. The camera that I'm shooting this on, for example, will look 10 times better than this. It's 4K. I'm not shooting it in 4K, but this is a 4K camera that I'm shooting on. So this little handy cam that I've got will actually shoot a far superior picture to this. But this looks cool. And it's 3CCD. It's got very good dynamic range. It's got a very good lens on it. That's where this one beats most of the smaller stuff. Is the lens on here is a very expensive lens, or it was when it was new. I didn't pay much for this camera. I got this thing literally for next to nothing, but now I've got a useful battery pack that I can use on this thing, and I could shoot with this thing all day if I really wanted to shoot something on beta. It's more of a toy to play with. And if you remember when I got the camera last year, I guess it was 2 years ago now, the mount was broken and everything here, and I got the whole pack to hold the camera, and I got the porta-brace. That's right, I got the porta-brace bag, not the porta-brace for this, just the porta-brace bag that you carry. I threw it out because it was just too big and clumsy, and I was never going to use it. It was huge, and it had rips and stuff in it, so I didn't really care for that. I just tossed that. Didn't need it. This camera, it's got some dust on it because it just sits on display. It's more of a display piece for me. I just think it looks cool, and now it can look cool with a battery pack attached to the back that's ready to go. And yeah, okay, thanks for watching. I'll throw some footage in from here, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.